everybody, and welcome back to yet another review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the NASCAR Through the Years 5-pack from 2021, which includes 5 cars. Obviously, it's a 5-pack. Heyday Junior Moon, The King, NASCAR McQueen, the exclusive NASCAR Cruz, and Mario Andretti. It also includes all of their corresponding pit stop barriers. It's available for $25 off of Walmart.com. It is a Walmart exclusive, although you could also get it from Amazon. I don't think it's really hit many Walmart stores, although Walmart still carry Cars 5-packs, including newly released ones. I just don't think this one ended up in many stores. The typical Walmart 5-pack includes, of course, 5 cars and retails for $20. This is $5 additional because of these pit stop barriers. Each of the NASCAR singles retail for $1 more than Walmart usually sells their cars because of these little plastic accessories, and probably you're also buying it, you're paying extra for that NASCAR license. So if you do the math here, assuming that each of these pit stop barriers is valued at $1, which is definitely a bit too much for them, then the $25 price, of course, makes sense. This pack is really interesting, though, for including Dinoco Cruz, the first exclusive car in a multi-pack since George Newman back in 2019. For years, Cars fans and collectors have been complaining about multi-packs being pretty awful. As of late, they've definitely gotten better, although they're focusing on interesting, rare re-releases compared to exclusive new releases like they used to. This pack with Cruz is just the first one in a very long time to include an exclusive car. Now, for me, I don't buy every new multi-pack that comes out. Usually, I just get ones where there are several cars in it that I don't already have. This is a different case. I bought this pack exclusively for that Cruz. I'm definitely going to repaint these other cars, especially that McQueen, but I got this for the Cruz so that I could use it in future videos. And yeah, the reason why I'm getting this so much later after it came out, even after it was on sale, which I really should have bought it then, is just because I don't know, I'm not really the biggest fan of this pack. I didn't really think it was worth it. The Cruz is the only one I didn't already have, and now, though, that I want to use this Cruz for future projects, I've decided to pick it up. This pack is pretty interesting for its theme of NASCAR through the years, as it features several characters based off of real-world NASCAR racers. Heyday Junior Moon, The King, and Mario Andretti. But it also features McQueen and Cruz, which makes it really disappointing in my opinion. The theme of it was NASCAR through the years, and 2 of your 5 cars aren't even based off of real-world NASCAR people. Heck, your exclusive car isn't even based off of a real-world NASCAR person. The NASCAR through the years name, I think they could have done more. You should have, in my opinion, replaced these 2 with some more recent NASCAR racers, like including Jeff Gorvette instead of McQueen. Or, say, including one of the next gens instead of Cruz. I think that would have been a perfect choice. You could do Cars 3 Jeff Gorvette for McQueen, and instead of Cruz, you could re-release Ryan or Chase from the NASCAR series or one of the new characters. Or heck, if you want to keep the concept of having an exclusive car in the pack, just release this Cruz as a single instead and make one of the next gens exclusive to this 5-pack. I think it really would have made this pack cooler and have given this name more of a meaning. But hey, I'm not Mattel. I didn't make these choices. McQueen sells, although there have been several multi-packs of Soul Just Pine in the past few years that didn't include him. I don't know, I just gotta say, I'm quite a bit disappointed with the selection. I think they could have done more, but whatever. I bought it. It was my purchase, so I probably shouldn't be complaining. I really like this box design. We have this really nice image of McQueen on this huge cardboard flap. Got the metal logo, NASCAR Through the Years 5-pack with that sort of zooming by font. Includes pit stop barriers, as you can see. Moving on to the back, we have a series description, which we actually didn't have on any of the NASCAR singles, and I quite like it. NASCAR and Disney and Pixar's cars come together in this pack, celebrating racers of NASCAR's past while racing towards the future. Although saying NASCAR and Disney and Pixar's cars sounds kind of odd, I gotta say I really do like that description. You can see once again Heyday Jr., Lightning, Mario, Dinoco Cruz, and Strip Weathers, aka The King. Cruz isn't even labeled as exclusive or as a first look, which is kind of odd. Have the NASCAR logo there, and at the bottom you can see some of the singles. Jackson, Lightning, Chase Race A Lot, Carson Ace Dillon. These 2 have their names switched. Yeah. Thanks, Mattel. This is supposed to be Ryan. Then we have Crew Chief Mater and Pit Crew Luigi and Guido. Now, let's get this out of the box here. I actually have some writing on the sides, which I don't think I noticed earlier. Yeah, just the same thing written on either side. But yeah, I really didn't care much for this pack. I was debating for quite a while if I wanted it or not. Whether or not it was really worth it in my eyes. Personally, I still kind of don't think it's worth it for me personally, but this is a case where me wanting to use a product in a video kind of trumps my personal opinion on it. I think it's a perfectly fine pack, especially if you're missing cars like Mario and Heyday Jr. and the King, but none of them are particularly rare, so yeah. People might complain that, oh, they didn't make exclusive NASCAR versions of the King or of Junior or of Mario, but in the case of that, I mean, they're already painted in their NASCAR looks. That might be why they didn't include Jeff Gorvette. He's like his own original Cars design instead of based off of any car Jeff Gordon drove, you know, based off any particular color scheme. It definitely does seem like an odd selection of characters, but it does make sense once you understand that theme, although, then again, McQueen and Cruz being in it doesn't make sense if you understand the theme. So here are the 5 of them. There we go. This pack is made in Vietnam, of course, like all multi-packs are now. I'm not the type of guy who really cares about the country-specific variants, but I will be comparing them. I just won't be keeping them. This, to me, the fact that it's made in Vietnam, Heyday Junior Moon, doesn't matter. I'm going to be repainting it either way. I actually already have a Vietnam version of the King lying around. So this is now my second Vietnam, made in Vietnam, the King, which is going to be kind of odd. So now I have 2 made in Vietnam, the Kings, to repaint. The King and Mario, though, are both cars where I chose to buy their Thailand versions. I'll do that occasionally. If there's a Thailand version that I really do like, I will get it or keep it as it is. But don't really do that with the Vietnam variants. Not because I don't like them. I think they look perfectly fine, although I definitely prefer the Thailand ones. It's just that I really don't have a need to have more than one Heyday Junior Moon on my shelf, you know. Anyway, though, here is the Made in Vietnam Heyday Junior Moon out of the package. His eyes are a very different color, although they definitely seem closer to the original Junior Moon. I've already noticed a strange change with him. I hope it's just my copy. I don't know if it's every copy of the pack, but the silver here is not painted in on him, on his hood there. That's kind of odd. Honestly, I kind of prefer it with that not painted, but I don't think that's accurate. That is a weird choice, but okay. Expression definitely seems a bit different, but I think it's mainly because of those eyes. No, it's definitely different. It's closer to the variant of the regular Junior. Number 11 there on the side. The wheels look a little different. The axles just seem a bit longer. Really not any other changes, I don't think. He, of course, has his Moonshine license plate, which is great. Windows are a bit of a different color, and I'm just doing this for those of you who really like analyzing the differences from each country's car variants. There is the base, though. Yeah, for Junior Moon, I think I'm going to be repainting him into maybe some sort of Thomasville resident or Radiator Springs visitor of some kind. I don't think I'm going to make him into an old school racer. That's what I plan to do with the King and Mario, though. For a while, I've wanted to do some sort of Cars Adventures episode, introducing, like, some old school cars who raced in, like, the 70s. I think that would be cool. So having now 2 versions of the King to repaint and that Mario Andretti could definitely be helpful for the video. Here is Junior Moon's pit stop barrier. This pack is so interesting because it includes re-releases of normal cars. It's the only thing in the NASCAR series to do that, but still it includes new pit stop barriers for them. I quite like Junior's. It's very simplistic, but I really do like it quite a bit with the checkered flag and Junior Moon number 11. Now up next, here is the King out of the package. You've all seen him before. I've even reviewed the specifically made in Thailand the King before when I reviewed the Piston Cup Race 11 pack a few months back. He looks like the King. He looks quite different from the Thailand version of the King and quite a bit more like the original made in China version of the King. I really like the Made in Thailand, the King, although it's not really the most accurate. I just kind of like the design. But this is quite a good looking the King, and that's coming from someone who doesn't really care much for the Made in Vietnam variants. I'm really just not a fan with what they do with like this sort of shadowy spray around the eyelids to try to give them depth. I just don't think it works like ever. But still, I think this is a really good looking the King, and better looking than the Thailand King in some regards. Again, I've definitely done a better comparison between all the different versions of the King in past reviews, but really not that much to say. If you've seen the King, you've seen the King. Vitaline, Mood Springs, No Stall, Piston Cup, Little Turkey Pistons, Gasprin, Retread, and Easy Idle there on the side. Dinoco logos all around him on the back and on the other side. And there is a look at the base for him. You can see the copyright for 1970 Plymouth Superbird, of course, the type of car the King is. And here's his pit stop barrier, which, the King's actually been released with the pit stop barrier before, and I want to say it's the exact same one as this. Back in around 2016 or so, the King was released with his pit stop barrier in that Movie Moments singles line. It's a very simplistic one. Looks very first Cars movie. It would have been nice if it got a bit of an update, but that's okay. If that is the exact same one in that older pack, definitely let me know in the comments since I don't own that. Moving on to the McQueen Hero. This is kind of strange. He has a different mouth. He's actually quite different. I got a comment when I unboxed this pack in my haul video the other day from a very good, frequent commenter of mine, Marcus Lafrano. He's been a really nice guy, a really great viewer of mine for several years now, and he was saying that the quality of the McQueen in the 5-pack is much lower, which is quite interesting. I'm not sure about the quality, but I will say he looks quite a bit different. That mouth is definitely smaller, and I think I remember people saying that when it first came out. He has the mouth of a different McQueen. His eyes are quite a bit different, but if you want my opinion on the NASCAR McQueen, again, I did a full review of it when I first got it last year. It's a really good looking McQueen, a really solid design. Love the silver on his lucky stickers there. I really, really like the 7-time Piston Cup champion logo on him. I think that's great. Got the 95 there, Rusty's logo. Very interesting lightning bolt. Hopefully I'll be reviewing this guy again soon because his 2022 variant's out with new wheels and a different face. But this guy, again, will be repainted and just made a new McQueen in my collection for upcoming Cars Adventure stuff, probably. Clutch Aid, RPM, Revolting, Vitaline, and can't really make that one out. I think, yeah, that's the old Octane Gain logo. Rusty's on the back with his gas cap, which looks huge. Really like this bar design over the windows. It would have been nice if they added stuff like that to the other cars in the pack. Then again, they just kept their original versions because they are based off of the real cars they used in real life. We've got the Lightning McQueen signature up there, same looking as always, which is nice attention to detail. I kind of felt like they'd changed it since they changed so much else. Like that Rusty's on the back with a black spoiler. There is a look at the back with a very interesting color scheme there. Very interesting sort of tire tread looking design. There's the other side, and there's the base of him. I forgot how much I loved this McQueen. It really is a cool one. As for quality difference, mine is a big blemish in the paint. It's got like a bump in the yellow with the lightning bolt. So, yeah. Maybe they did cheap out on this McQueen in some aspects, but I'm not too sure. He definitely looks quite a bit different, though. The eye expression is a bit different. The mouth is different. The car itself looks skinnier, and I think that's just me. I think that's just the mouth being smaller and the eyes being closer together, playing tricks on me. As for his pit stop barrier, I believe it's the same exact one that came with the single. Pretty nice looking pit stop barrier. I'm excited though because I have a spare of this, which means if this is the exact same one as the single, which I'm 99% sure it is, I could repaint this for something. I wonder what I'll do with that. I could definitely do something with that. Now, moving on to Cruz, the exclusive of the pack. Really is a shame that Cruz was only released in this 5-pack, but it's definitely better than many of the other recent sub-series that haven't even included a Cruz. I have a whole video planned in the future for sort of the mistreatment of Cruz and expanded universe Cars lines, but here she is, out of the package. I feel like with this Cruz, you either love her or you hate her, and it's one that I'm very down the middle on. I really like that she uses the original Dinoco logo. I think that's really cool, and I'm glad that they did that. I'm not a fan of that big black outline around her eyes returning from the original Dinoco Cruz release. I will say that. But I like the uniqueness of this Cruz. It's quite different than normal Dinoco Cruz. It looks more like a traditional race car, which is nice. Like the normal Dinoco Cruz is very cool, but like this one just looks more like a real world racer, which is nice and kind of the point. Her wheels are silver with a blue outline instead of fully blue. Her secondary sponsors include the Piston Cup Combustor, Carbon Cyber, and Synergy, written in the same sort of way that McQueen's, or not really, sorry, they're kind of written in the same way McQueen's Piston Cup Champion logo is, which I really like, where they're not colored in and they're sort of simplified. You got a 51 there, and a font pretty similar to that of McQueen's, but also pretty different. I like the white numbering. It's a nice change. Those bars on the window sort of covered up. Dinoco Dinosaur, not as huge as it is on the normal Dinoco Cruz. Look at how huge that dinosaur is, man. That's a giant dinosaur. Like, that's weird how large that is. But yeah, this has like the classic Dinoco dinosaur on it instead. Dinoco logo there, covered up by the gas cap. She has a pretty interesting design where the yellow fades into a darker color. Not the prettiest looking color. It could have looked a bit nicer. I can't even tell like what color it's supposed to be. Just sort of like an orange. Just looks like a burnt yellow. Her spoiler is still blue, which I feel like would kind of be intrusive, but I think with the blue and white on the rest of her, it looks perfectly fine. Then moving on to the back, we have the 51 and the little dinosaur with the Dinoco logo. Cruz is now, again, since she's back to using the original logo, using a T-Rex instead of, I believe this is a Stegosaurus. And it's kind of odd to see, like, it's kind of out of place to see a T-Rex on Cruz instead of the typical dinosaur with his little tiny arms. I don't know about this color that it fades into, though. It's a lot more subtle on the prototype image on the box. Like, you could barely tell it changed color. I feel like on the final product, the color just becomes too dark way too quickly, and I don't even know what color they're going for here. I think this could have been pulled off a bit better. I like the concept of the fading design, but like yellow fading into like a darker yellow doesn't look all that good in my opinion. If they tried to have it fade into a blue, that would have been sick. That would have been so cool if they had it fade into like a blue. That would have been awesome, man. That would have been really cool to look at. I think though still it is a really nice looking Cruz. I guess it's sort of fading into a gold. If you get it like at the right light, it does look quite nice. Like from this angle, it looks really cool. But from the top, it just looks like it gets too dark. But I think they were going for a gold. From this angle though, it looks really, really nice. I guess it just depends on how you look at it. Quite different than many of the other recent Cruzes, which is really nice because so many of the recently released Cruzes are so similar. It's just nice to have a bit of variety there. And that's what the NASCAR series has done with its variants. Made them look very different from their originals in very welcome ways. Unless, of course, you're talking about Jackson, who basically looks the same. Don't at me. Moving on to Mario Andretti. Oh, wait, actually, before Mario, Cruz's pit stop barrier. I believe this is like the second or third pit stop barrier Cruz has gotten. And it actually is different than the other ones, which is nice because it has the different logo and different font and all that. Pretty nice looking, but again, it's kind of out of place to see the old style dinosaur on something related to Cruz. Moving on to Mario. Mario is another character where I just really like his Thailand variant, so I decided to pick him up a few years back. I really prefer it to his original, which this is the original, this is the Thailand. You can see the Made in Vietnam one, much like with the King, is more similar to his original Made in China variant. Now, Mario's wheels changed color at one point, so it is nice to see that the Vietnam variant is using the correct red wheels instead of the original mustard ones. But you can see 427 CI or CL, I think it's CI. Mario's eyes are just very fuzzy looking, which is one of the main reasons why I don't like the Vietnam variants as much as some of the other cars. Like, on particular Vietnam variants, some of them look perfectly fine, but Mario, like, his eyes just look fuzzy compared to the Thailand or the Made in China. 11 up top there on the roof. old style piston cup logo on the side. Mario Andretti, number 11, Mario written there in a pretty interesting font. I am so excited to repaint this guy. I really am. Windows are a different color, which seems to be a running theme here. Mario's written there on the back with the lights, which are molded in, wait a minute, on his Thailand variant. Wait, stop. For years I've preferred the Thailand variant, but his back lights are just painted on here. On the original, they're sculpted. On this version, they're sculpted. Why are they just painted on the Thailand version? Alright, mark that one down for errors and inconsistencies. That is weird. Why did they do that? There's a look at the other side, though. And there's a look at the base. And now here's a very quick look at his pit stop barrier. The colors honestly don't match up that well, I don't think. But it is a nice looking pit stop barrier. Very sort of classic, old school looking. And there you have it, guys. All 5 cars from the NASCAR Through the Years 5-pack reviewed. I really don't know what to say regarding my opinions on this pack, or like a buying recommendation. If you really like that Cruz, I think it's up to you and whether or not you're willing to spend the money to just get this Cruz. You know, I don't really have like a recommendation or not a recommendation. I think it's just a case-by-case basis. How many of these cars do you not already have? How many of them would you like to have? Do you like the Cruz? For me personally, like I said, I just got it so I could use Cruz in the videos that I'm planning on doing in the future. I'm going to repaint the rest of these guys in the future, but I think it's a very unique pack and one that it's hard for me to place an opinion on. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think about this pack in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.